Yes, sir. It is finally here, man. Part two of Euphoria, Jules. Uh, the episode, just the whole thing entirely was just like crazy. But I think honestly, comparing it to the first, like part one with Rue, I think it was. I think part one was still like it still has it, bro.
Yeah, part one is definitely ranking higher than part two for Jules because I think the thing about part one, it caught everyone so off guard that, like, coming into this episode,
Mhm.
I knew that it was going to be sort of like Jules going off into some sort of, just getting into Jules' psyche. So I kind
Yeah.
of felt like I knew the framework for where this episode was going to go before I even saw it in comparison to the episode for Rue,
Yeah.
where it was just like no one kind of had an idea of where that was going.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it just kind of like paved the way for the rest of the episodes to kind of take it in that dynamic,
Yeah, and I
for
think that's going to be a trend. I'm hoping that there's going to be other parts for these specials that come out, and because I think I was watching Inside the Episode for the first episode for Rue, and they said that this was kind of how they were shooting due to COVID, everything that's going on with that,
yeah.
and not wanting to have too many people on cast at the same time. So hopefully we get a Nate episode, bro. I'm hoping, man. The best
Hopefully,
villain.
man. Yeah, but let's jump right into it, man. At the very
Closer to Mike.
oh,
Yeah.
so yeah, at the very beginning of the episode, we have Jules sitting down in front of her therapist, and the therapist asks her like, Jules, like, why did you run away? And you see Jules like kind of like I don't want to say uncomfortable, but she's kind of standoffish. Like she's not really being too open or vulnerable, and that's fine because obviously we find out that it was her first session with a stranger basically that
Yeah.
is gonna be her, I guess.
Her introduction to therapy, if
Yeah.
anything. And, there's always a stigma that's, surrounded around therapy where people think, oh, you just gotta be crazy. But in my humble opinion, I believe that, like, everyone should at least have one or two sort of, like, instances or cases where they go to therapy. Just, I feel like it always helps to just get an outside and unbiased perspective when it comes to certain things, especially dealing with you. It's hard to find people that you can just talk to that'll just listen and just give you
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
an
with getting
opinion.
that professional help. Definitely, when you go in there in that type of setting, you definitely want to, have your wall down. Definitely be ready to be vulnerable because it makes the process easier for you and for the person and for the person that you're talking to as well. So
Exactly, and that's your money on the line too.
exactly. Don't want to waste your time nor your money. But yeah, I think one of the first things that Jules stated was like how she feels like her whole entire womanhood is basically framed based on like pleasing men, you
Yeah,
know, and we kind of see that in the first season where like she's kind of messing with all these guys, and I think in the first episode they kind of show like clips of her messing with like from the beginning like Nate's dad,
yeah.
one of them, and then just reoccurring like guys, or just like yeah.
I think they were showing like kind of how, uh, in her previous like interactions and encounters with men, it didn't really seem as if they fully bought. I don't want to say bought into the experience, but it didn't really seem as if they didn't fully accept what was happening.
Mhm.
As opposed to that. Well, we're gonna get into that into the future. As opposed to her relationship with shy guy, 1118 or Tyler or Nate, whatever you want to call him, but it didn't really seem as if those moments she was more so pleasing herself. It seemed like she was trying to, at least for her, and I feel within her femininity and her sexuality, I feel like it's more so putting herself in a place where she feels normalized.
Yeah.
And in those previous encounters that she has, you could see it, like, even, in all of those montages that they would show you, like, they would always have, like, just zoomed in on her face and how uncomfortable she looked throughout the whole experience.
I like that you brought up femininity because she says it a couple times throughout the episode. For one, I think she started off saying how like she tried to conquer it, but it ended up conquering her, and then how she feels like it basically places her in this hierarchy where she feels like she's being like ranked just by like how she looks or how she how she dresses, talks, or whatever, and how like basically her like she brings value into someone's life. So, like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, she gives you a glimpse kind of into her psyche and
Mm.
just the pressures that she has on herself. which I think is pretty dope of Euphoria as a whole. Like you don't often get as I mean you gain perspective in certain shows. I know like Orange is the New Black from trans women and
Yeah.
just kind of their experiences, but like this one is so in depth and it's so personal where she says sort of like her femininity you could tell like within her femininity is to be accepted by men and to be loved by men,
Yeah.
but on the other hand with her femininity it's just like she kind of wants to fit the prototypical role of a female, and she was talking about all those little inner insecurities that women do have kind of play into putting on one another and
Just like comparing themselves or something like that.
comparing themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy because these are certain things that would elude people who aren't familiar with issues that trans people go through, and people wouldn't tend to think that that's something that's up there. Rather, it's just like you want to win favor with men and you want to win favor with women as well, and it's a lot of pressure, and you could tell that's building a lot of anxiety within Jules.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely see it in a lot of shows and movies, like stuff like this, but I feel like Euphoria kind of took it and kind of put their own spin on it and made it very, what's the word I'm looking for? They just really,
It's made it personal.
yeah, exactly.
It's got real deep and personal with it, especially with an episode like that where it's just mainly focused on Jules.
Yeah,
So you're not really getting too many other outside perspectives. You got the therapist maybe, asking a question or two, and you might have like a clip of like, Rue, but for the most part, you're in Jules's mind.
exactly. There was like a scene where Jules is telling her therapist that she likes how Rue sees her because she sees her from who she truly is, like pure innocent, just basically how like her mom like used to see her when she was like younger. Like she sees her beneath like all those layers that she kind of like built, over the years of growing up and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. And it's just like, it's crazy because when you first, when the show first introduces you to Jules's mother,
Yeah.
it doesn't appear as if they give you a lot of context behind her.
Mhm.
It just seemed as if Jules's mother didn't accept her lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the first glimpse when they show you, I think it was the second episode where they show you Jules going to the clinic. Not the clinic. I don't even know what you want to call that thing. It was like
When they sent her away, you mean?
yeah, like it was kind of like
ward.
within a facility or,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or a ward of some sort.
Yeah.
And it seemed like her mother was deeply behind it because all throughout the show, you get, granted, you don't see too much of Jules's father, but it always seems like Jules's father was very accepting of her, and it just seemed like her mother wasn't. So when they give you more context in the show and they tell you that her mother was an alcoholic,
Nope.
that that really kind of just made me like go, whoa, okay, like we're getting somewhere here with this.
You start connecting it.
Yeah, and it's sort of like her mother, and going into deeper into it too, because further into the episode, spoilers. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you most likely watched the episode.
Yeah.
But it shows that there was a scene in which Jules's mother tried to reconcile her differences with Jules, and Jules didn't want to do it. And it's well shot how they did it. They literally had her mother downstairs, and they had her Jules's father talking to Jules, and you could hear them yelling at each other from upstairs, and her mother overheard everything.
Yeah.
And it seems that from that experience, her mother sort of relapsed, and she started drinking alcohol again, and she went missing, and so on and so forth.
So are you blaming that on Jules?
I'm not. That's such a. I couldn't really give you a full answer as to who to blame that on.
Nah, definitely don't blame it on Jules.
Yeah.
It's
But that's something that I could tell, like internally, like I could feel that Jules has that guilt that's with her.
that
And-
it might have been her fault. Yeah.
Of course, and I feel like that guilt kind of seeps into the relationship that she has with Rue, who's also another addict. And we all seen how obsessive Rue can get, especially when it comes to Jules. So I'm pretty sure that Jules is aware of how her relationship, whether it could benefit Rue to lead her in the right direction, if there were ever to be moments of turmoil within their relationship, which we have seen as the audience, Rue goes spiraling down, man.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they showed the scene of Jules kind of sitting on the kitchen counter, and she's like writing her notepad, and her dad walks into the kitchen, and he's like, "Oh, your mom is like 6 to 9 months clean," and she's like, "Oh, do you want to see her?" And she's like, "Oh, no, not really," And then from that scene, I kind of like connected the dots in a way, and I was just like, "Yo," I was like, Jules' mom is an addict of some sort, and I was like, so is Rue. So I was just like, she kind of like, I feel like she kind of, I don't want to say she hangs around Rue because it reminds her of her mom, but it kind of seems that way,
Yeah, and it makes you think, like, is this sort of like, because the physicality between the relationship between Rue and Jules, like, it's not fully there.
Yeah.
And you could definitely tell the difference between physicality between Jules' encounter with Anna as opposed to her relationship with Rue. So it makes you think, like, is Jules trying to right her wrongs that she did with her mother?
And fix it in Rue.
And fix it in Rue. And it's just like
Rue's like a little project or something.
Yeah, and this goes to show, and this is something that I want to discuss with the audience. Oftentimes, relationships and love isn't based off of what you want. It's based off of what you're accustomed to. And being as that's something that she was, well accustomed to throughout her childhood into her early adulthood, is dealing with her mother and dealing with her mother's dependence on alcohol.
Yeah.
Sadly, man, this is the revolving door of love, man. And sometimes you find yourself back into situations that you've had already lived through.
And it's interesting you say that because I feel like everyone I mean, I don't know if you have, but hopefully you guys have heard the saying where it's like some people kind of go out there attracting others, like significant others that kind of remind them of their parents.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
but like shit to a detriment, man. To a detriment this time, man.
Yeah.
Because deep down, like if we're really speaking it they're not good for each other, man.
Absolutely. You have two damaged people that are going through it, are not healing properly. They're using drugs, they're using, whatever, they're running away from the situation, like they're not.
Yeah, I feel like the way in which Rue escapes from her issues is through abusing drugs.
Yeah.
Whereas the way how Jules gets through her issues, it kind of deals with like...
She runs away, I feel like.
She runs away, like she ran away earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, I think she goes through it in a bit with sexuality.
Defense mechanism, is that what
yeah,
it is?
that's kind of her defense mechanism, is sexuality.
Yep.
And she was kind of exploring that sexuality with Anna. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, too, and I remember when we were watching the episode, I kind of just paused and I was just like, should I tell you this? And I was like, I'm going to save it for the episode. What is really strange to me is that Jules had this relationship with Rue for how long within the show? And it seems as if she never once questioned her femininity being in that relationship with Rue. But that one night that she spent with Anna just completely shifted her whole thought process on herself. And I feel like that's like one of the bigger reasons that she's in therapy too, because it's just like she's kind of in there because she's dealing with this internal issue because she doesn't know who she is anymore, because it's just like she's built her whole entire life on trying to be something, but like at the end of the day she's like, this isn't even what that even is at this point, because she had that one encounter. So it just makes me think, like, does she really have those true feelings for Rue? Does she? Or is she pity dating her?
She could be pity dating her. I mean, I know that the experience for her is also like new because she explains that Rue is the first person she's ever like...
First woman she's ever kissed.
Yeah, so it was definitely new for her. She didn't know how to take it, and we got to see that in the first season where like, Rue kisses her and she's like sitting there, like standing there shocked. She's like, oh, like, okay.
That just happened.
So yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Do you think that sometimes people need that extra person and to encounter to realize like, like, wow, like this is what I have here?
I think, yeah, and this is the thing with her. With Jules, it seems as if like within her relationship with Rue, that sense of allure and exploration isn't there. Like with the whole idea of Tyler and Shy Guy, whatever the hell you want to call him, Nate, it was sort of like this idea of like, hey, I'm in a relationship with someone who values me for me just being me.
Okay.
I don't have to fit into this role of being a woman. And even within that, I felt like that made her feel more womanly.
Yeah.
And it's just like her situation, and like with Anna, like I felt like she felt like a woman despite being with another woman. And it's just like it's hard to explain, man. It just feels like she's searching for herself in other people in a sense, you know.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to find out like who she is, and I feel like a lot of people go through this as like a young adult.
Exactly.
It's not an easy process for anyone. Like it's not easy just to wake up and be like, all right, like I know who I am, I know what I want to do. Like you kind of gotta go through those trials and tribulations, and we kind of see what she's going through mentally, and I guess physically with how she's treating her body, her mental state, and what she's doing to take care of that in her own way. So.
Yeah, man, and just dealing with the weight of Rue's sobriety on her shoulders, man.
Oh, when she said that line, where she was like, "I feel like Rue's sobriety is like it's what she say? She said
It's like fully, like it's just dependent on her availability.
Yeah.
And it's just like she was saying, like there might be a moment where like she would just ask me to sleep over on a weekday, and like I just wouldn't do it, and like she would feel as if like that might put her in a situation where she could relapse. And it almost got graphic because she had a dream, and obviously with the the ill people over at HBO, they gave you a visual of what that looked like in her dream, where she said she was in New York with Rue, and she tried to get into the bathroom door, which Rue had locked. So yeah, man, and that was granted. I do believe that my top scene, like my top emotional scene within the entire show, has to be Nate with Cal, the whole banging his head on the wall.
Yeah,
not on the wall, on the floor.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
He actually gave himself a concussion.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you guys shot him out, bro. Yo, honestly, he's a phenomenal actor, man. And also, I would say Rue with Fesco, when she was trying to, she was trying to re-up a little bit, but Fesco was just like, nah, I'm not going to let you do that.
When she had that mental breakdown in front of his apartment. Yeah,
oh, man.
That was tough.
But I would say that, I would consider them to be the big three. I would say it's Rue, Jules, and Nate.
Yeah, I agree.
But I might say, I might put Maddie in there too.
Maddie the baddie.
For personal reasons, but yeah. Nah, but I think she had a top 3 performance in that also. Yeah. Like that was a powerful scene, man.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about like physicality between like her and Anna, she was saying how more than half of her relationship with Nate was like imaginary, like it just was it's non-existent. Like it was like we kind of see what she was kind of like, and like having this like vision in her head and stuff.
Yeah, and I think the whole basis of that attraction was like I was saying before. I feel like the basis of that attraction was based on the idea of like having this prototypical male type figure. Because that's how she wanted to conquer femininity was through men.
Yeah.
And having this figure fully accept her for who she is, and still, entertain this relationship that they had. Because she said that they would stay up to like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Which really makes me think like, honestly, and I'm hoping that we really do get this episode, man. I definitely want to see the psyche of Nate, man. I have to see it, man. Like, because for him to be doing that, like and it probably shows why he kissed her. Like he's emotionally invested into Jules, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Because Jules kind of takes him away from like the image that he has of Maddie, like what Maddie like brings to the table. Because Maddie is really toxic for Nate, and we see that.
Yeah.
And Jules kind of takes him away from that. It makes him forget,
Yeah.
So he feel like he can be himself. He doesn't have to put up this front or chase her or whatever.
Yeah, man, and it's just like there's so much, man. There's so much within that Nate character, man. There's something I also wanted to touch on too, which I feel like gets like kind of put to the wayside. But definitely want to shout out Jules's pops, bro. Jules's pops has just always consistently been there for her, always consistently accepted her for who she was.
Right.
And it kind of just the fact that she runs away. It kind of just shocks me that like Jules is able to put herself in these scenarios where she's able to abandon those that like truly care for her and those that try to reach out for her. and then that she kind of finds such a mystery and a allure to other people that are not fully present there for her. You know what I'm saying? Like she was able to leave
Yeah.
Rue, she was able to leave her father, and even that chance that she was given an opportunity to, reconcile things with her mother, she was able to just let that fall to the wayside as well. So it makes me really question what's going on with Jules, man.
I don't know, man. She just constantly is just running away. Like it's just she just has to figure out, she just has to kind of like fight her battles. But it's tough for her, She doesn't really. She needs that guidance, I guess. So
Yeah, man. I feel like it's definitely like an internal struggle that she's dealing with,
absolutely.
and I feel like it's mostly based on her identity, and even that I think towards in the episode she says that she doesn't even want men anymore at this point. Like she recognizes that she's attracted to women, and
Yeah.
she's saying that she no longer wants to take her hormones anymore. Well, some of them
Yeah,
she
some
says she
of them.
doesn't want to take anymore, and it's just like I'm curious to see. Like I really want to see where this goes for her because I'm intrigued, man, by it. Like it just, and this is why I appreciate the way how they're shooting it. I feel like it really cues in on these characters and their, on the issues that they deal with in a more personal level. And it's just like, it makes me really want to see how her story unfolds.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I love how they're kind of like diving into her storyline and her backstory and giving us more screen time of like Jules and Rue. I don't know. I feel like it might end here. Do you think they might keep going though? With like they might keep adding on to their story like here and there.
I think they're in this weird space where like it's like not good for them, but like they think they both shouldn't be together, but they both like need each other
Mm.
because I feel like Jules, as much as she doesn't like to be in that scenario where she feels like her availability is kind of based on Rue, but like I feel like she needs that figure of a Rue. She needs like a rock, someone that's gonna accept her for who she is, not look, like she said, all the layers that she has that just sees her for who she is. I feel like she needs that, man, because she got that from Anna. That's what she got, but in a more physical aspect, she got that from her. That's what she was getting from Shy Guy 1118. And that's what she's getting from her, and that's what she gets from her father as well.
Mm.
I feel like she needs someone that's there to fully accept her for who she is, and Rue does that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that like they definitely can't be in each other's lives. I just feel like romantically, I don't know if that's the because referring back to part one with Rue, the waitress and the diner, obviously Rue, Ali asks her like, is it good for two people that are both like not heartbroken but like broken like to be in a relationship with each other when they're trying to like
Yeah,
fix themselves, and she was like no, and I
It's,
feel
and it's crazy because Ali doesn't even have that much context on Jules. Like he was just saying, for someone that's dealing with trying to get over, addiction, is it a good idea for you to be in a relationship? And everyone was like, that's a horrible idea.
yeah.
And it's like Jules has her own demons that she's fighting right now too.
Exactly.
And for them to both be together, it's just like it's not
And
for the best.
And it's sad because you have one person where it's like you see Rue like when she's going through it, she needs Jules. Like she's very dependent on Jules, and then
Yeah.
when you see Jules going through something, you see her run away. So it's
Yeah.
really bad. Like obviously, if they
Ooh,
both were
yeah.
dependent, then they would be able to coexist, and I feel like it would work out. But like because of how they both handle their issues, like it's not good.
Yeah, man. For all the psych people out there that if you know about if you're familiar with attachment styles, it seems from what I'm seeing, it seems that Rue is the anxious attachment style that always needs that reassurance, that always needs her present, which is stuff that we do talk about for those of you that are just tuning in to watch this episode. We do tackle a lot of these topics, whether it be to be or not to be, or mansplaining. I know we got into this before.
Yes, sir.
We're dropping a video on that very shortly. But yeah, it seems that she is, she's more the clinger type, whereas Jules is one of those people that she could just pick up and then go at any moment, man.
Yeah, exactly. And she's comfortable with that because she's been doing that, her entire life so far. So
Pretty much, man. Damn, bro. It's just like I'm just wondering how their storyline in their relationship, like what is gonna happen, like what is gonna be the ultimate thing to just make them both stop.
that's what I was gonna touch on that. I feel like what might happen, and this might be kind of dark, but like we might just get left with what we're given right now. Like I don't know if they're gonna expand. Do you think they're gonna expand on this? I feel
Oh,
like
of course.
I feel like I don't know.
That's big three, baby. That's big three right there.
That's true. I mean,
LeBron and Dwayne Wade right there. The show, man. They need them.
what I'm saying is, I feel like they might not give us, the satisfaction of like giving them a happy ending. They might just leave
Oh,
it
of
up
course
to
not.
they might just leave it up to the viewers to just hope that, like, we just hope that it gets better in their reality.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I don't think there's gonna be a happy ending for the both
No,
of them.
yeah, no.
Just keeping it real, man. But yeah, man. Thank you for everyone that's shown support. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, give us a like, share it with your friends. Yeah, this is us, CYM Media.